If you are going to start teaching your dog basic commands, there are certain steps that you need to follow. The first thing that you should do is to teach your dog how to sit and stay. Often, this can be done by giving your dog a treat, but the reward should be good enough to make your dog want to do it again. Another step that you need to take is to learn how to properly address your dog. Sit. One of the most important parts of dog training is the basic commands. Whether you want to train your dog to sit, stay, or come, it's a good idea to get the foundation right. Teaching your dog a few of the most fundamental commands will help to ensure a happy, healthy relationship. The sit command is the easiest and most natural command for most dogs. You can begin teaching your pup to do this by placing a treat in front of his nose and then lifting it up and out. When the dog is in the sitting position, praise him for doing it. Another common dog command is the heel. This is usually combined with the stay command. However, the heel command itself is also useful for teaching a dog to stop and wait for you. The down command is another useful trick. It can be used to keep your dog in place while you move from room to room, or to control a certain behavior. You can teach your dog to use the down command by using a toy, a treat, or even a crate. The most effective way to do this is by allowing your dog to see the object and then presenting it to him while he is in the sit position. You can also use an empty hand as a signal. This is the simplest and most reliable trick. Once your dog understands how to use an empty hand, you can combine it with a verbal cue or another arrow pointing towards a reward. During your initial training session, you should be patient. Don't expect to teach your dog any of these commands in one day. Instead, spend a little time every day. Down. Teaching a dog basic commands is very important. They can make your life easier and can help improve your relationship. However, there are many different ways to teach a dog these basic commands. One of the easiest commands to teach is the sit command. Once your dog knows this, you can start practicing a wide variety of activities. You can teach your dog to sit before meals, when you are playing, or when you are going for a walk. Another great command is the down command. This is a great way to calm down a hyper dog. It can also be used to stop your dog from jumping on you. When you are teaching your dog to sit, it is best to reward him for doing the action. You can either give him a treat, or hold a toy near his nose and give him a tug while he is in the sit position. After he knows the sit command, you can begin to teach him to stay. This is a natural progression from the sit command. But it is not something that you should expect your dog to learn overnight. Start by teaching your dog to stay for a few minutes, and then gradually increase the duration. Another great command to teach your dog is the come command. This is a very useful command to teach if your dog ever slips out of your leash. The come command can be especially helpful when your dog is overly excited or if you need to keep your dog from bolting out of the house. Aside from being a vital part of many canine sports activities, the down command is also useful in helping your dog relax. Your dog will respond more quickly to this command if he is calm. Stay. If you want to teach your dog how to stay, there are several steps you can take. First, you need to establish eye contact. Next, you need to give your dog a treat. Finally, you need to reward your dog every time it stays in the same position for a period of time. The next step is to teach your dog how to come when called. This is the key to keeping your dog close when you are walking or at the dog park. You can also use this command to keep your dog safe at the vet's office. When you first begin training your dog, start with a short 2-second stay. As your dog gets better at staying, you can gradually increase the length of time he can remain in this position. Eventually, you can work up to a long stay and even let him out of your sight for a while. Once your dog understands the stay command, you can teach him the come command. This is useful if you want to keep your dog in your backyard when you are walking him. It's also useful to help keep him from running into traffic or getting lost. The most important thing to remember when you're teaching your dog how to come is to keep him in a consistent, calm position. For example, you don't want your dog to get up when you open the door or when you are playing. You can do this by putting a treat near your dog's foot and covering it with your other hand. Your dog should follow your hand's direction and you can then reward him with a separate treat. Addressing your dog properly. Addressing your dog properly is very important when you are teaching him basic commands. There are a lot of different ways to do this. Some trainers use a leash, while others use a hand signal. Whatever method you choose, it's important to follow the command exactly. You should also reward your dog when he does it correctly. Teaching your dog a down command is a great way to control his behavior. Initially, you should practice this command by putting treats near his nose and pointing to the floor. Once you have made the dog understand that the treats are for him, you can begin varying the length of time he stays. Another effective way to teach a dog a down is to use an empty hand. Place your hand over your dog's lower back and lift it slightly in a J motion. When your dog reaches for the treat, you should pull your hand away. If your dog does not respond, try lowering your hand a little further down. The shake command is another fun trick to teach your dog. It's a simple command that is used to control excitement. Start with your dog sitting and then give him a treat for staying in that position. As he gains more experience, you can add more complex movement commands. When you first start training your dog, you may need to use a leash. Make sure you are not too tight on it to cause tension. Also, make sure the leash is only used if the dog is not listening. When you do not hear your dog respond, you can pull the leash closer to you or reel it in. After the dog begins to respond, you can start to praise him, or he can start to play with his favorite toy. Treats that are good but not super appealing. The trick to teaching a dog basic commands is not to overwhelm him or her with too many rewards at once. Too many treats can also affect the health of your pet, so you need to pick the treats that are right for you and your pup. Start out by making sure you're offering him or her a variety of different snacks. For example, you can offer him a treat that's made from real meat, like a piece of freeze-dried liver, or one that contains antioxidant-rich fruits and vegetables. Another important command to teach your dog is sit. This is not only a good exercise in self-control, but it can also keep your canine safe when he's curious or in the throes of a playful moment. You can use two different treats to train your dog to sit. One of them is a fancy-looking toy that you can give him when his rear end hits the floor. As he moves away, you can say the name of the toy in a clear voice. Teaching your dog to sit is a good start, but you should continue to practice this skill before your walks and other adventures. There are plenty of other things to do with your dog, and it can be easy to confuse him with more mundane activities. You can also teach your dog to come when you call. While this may not be as fun as playing with a toy, it's a useful way to recover from mishaps and stop your canine from engaging in unfriendly behaviors. There are plenty of other training treats to choose from, but don't expect to get the same results with every treat. Choose ones that are small and soft enough to keep your dog engaged without overwhelming him or her. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please be sure to like and subscribe. Your support really helps and I appreciate it. I hope that you have gained valuable knowledge about your dog's behavior and how you can set aside time each day to practice training and keep the sessions short and sweet. Feel free to check out our training in the description to further your understanding of this concept. Thank you for joining us today. See you on the next one.